In a recent video captured from the back door of the Montecito mansion, Prince Harry took center stage as he presented the Soldier of the Year award to Sergeant First Class Elizabeth Marks. However, amidst the spectacle, questions arise about the authenticity of the event. Was it merely another contrived PR stunt, or is there a deeper narrative at play? Moreover, speculation swirls about Harry's motivations, particularly concerning his position within the royal family vis-a-vis William's children. Could a bout of jealousy be simmering beneath the surface? Join me as I delve further into the intricacies of this event, and welcome back to my YouTube channel Royal 365. During this poignant presentation, the Duke of Sussex paid heartfelt tribute to his friend, Sergeant First Class Elizabeth Marks, a remarkable athlete aged 33. Marks boasts an impressive track record, having clinched gold medals at the Invictus Games on 4 occasions and Paralympic medals 5 times. Her journey is marked by resilience and determination, having endured bilateral hip injuries during her deployment in Iraq in 2010, having enlisted in the Army at the tender age of 17. Dressed impeccably in a black vest and a striking red tie adorned with his own medals, Harry stood before the audience to share his admiration for Marks. He recounted their initial meeting at the Invictus Games in Orlando back in 2016, where he proudly presented her with 4 gold medals she had won in swimming, a moment etched in both their memories. Marks's story is one of unwavering courage and indomitable spirit, as she has navigated every obstacle with grace and determination. Despite the physical and emotional toll of her injuries and subsequent surgeries, Marks has emerged as a beacon of hope and inspiration, blazing trails as the first woman in the Army's world-class athlete program and the program's inaugural swimmer. Moreover, Marks's journey of recovery extends beyond her personal triumphs, as she tirelessly endeavors to uplift and empower others facing similar challenges. Through her achievements and advocacy, she seeks to demonstrate that resilience and perseverance can overcome even the most daunting obstacles. As Harry reflected on his friendship with Marks and the impact of her journey, it was evident that their bond transcends mere acquaintance. Yet, amidst the sincerity of the moment, observers couldn't help but detect a note of irony in Harry's remarks, a subtle acknowledgement of the complexities of their relationship. Indeed, as the video footage captured Harry proudly donning his own military accolades, including the Operational Service Medal for Afghanistan and the Queen's Golden Jubilee Medal, alongside his honorary Queen's Platinum Jubilee Medal, awarded despite relinquishing his military titles in 2020. These symbols serve as a reminder of Harry's own journey and his continued connection to his military heritage, even as he forges a new path outside the confines of traditional royal duties. As previously mentioned, Prince Harry was observed wearing medals bestowed upon him by his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II. Yet, amidst the grandeur of these accolades, questions linger about Harry's entitlement to such honors, especially in comparison to the individuals who have earned them through their dedicated service. Furthermore, there is palpable discomfort surrounding Harry's perceived representation of U.S. soldiers, particularly in light of his association with the marked Invictus Games, an event that some view as an elitist endeavor overshadowing the U.S. as warrior games. Moreover, whispers within military circles suggest that Harry's own military service may have been more symbolic than substantive, with allegations surfacing about his privileged status as a prince affording him preferential treatment. In this context, the notion of Harry bestowing medals upon individuals like Elizabeth Marks, who have demonstrated true grit and valor, seems incongruous at best and insulting at worst. Delving deeper into the symbolism of the medals, scrutiny falls upon the absence of one particular honor, the medal Harry presumably should have received for attending his father's coronation. Speculation abounds as to the reasons behind this omission. Was Harry deliberately avoiding the inclusion of this medal, perhaps under advisement from Meghan, to deflect attention from his lack of recent military service? Or did logistical issues prevent him from receiving the medal in person, leaving it languishing in storage at Buckingham Palace until a later date? While the significance of these medals is undeniable for those who have earned them through genuine service, Harry's receipt of such honors raises eyebrows due to his status as a prince. It's a reminder of the inherent privileges afforded to royalty, even in the realm of military accolades. This discrepancy becomes all the more apparent when juxtaposed with the genuine sacrifices made by servicemen and women. In observing Harry's attire during various ceremonial occasions, it becomes apparent that he consistently wears the same set of medals, including those donned during his grandmother's funeral ceremonies. However, the absence of the coronation medal from his ensemble raises questions about the completeness of his collection. It begs the question, is Harry's display of medals a genuine reflection of his service and commitment, or merely a symbolic gesture emblematic of his royal lineage? Perhaps the absence of the coronation medal from Harry's attire could be attributed to oversight or last-minute decisions regarding his ensemble. It's possible that the palace traditionally handled such matters for him, leaving him unaware or unprepared for its inclusion. It's worth noting that Harry's display of military honors predominantly consists of participation jubilee medals rather than awards earned through active service. This stark contrast underscores the discrepancy between his ceremonial attire and the genuine sacrifices made by soldiers on the front lines. Indeed, Harry's reputation as Bunker Harry, seemingly more inclined towards leisure activities than combat, further compounds the irony of his military accolades. The association between Harry and the U.S. military, particularly in the context of presenting a Soldier of the Year award, raises eyebrows and questions about the authenticity of his involvement. Some speculate that this may be a strategic move on Harry's part to rehabilitate his image, leveraging the goodwill of American veterans for his own PR purposes. However, the lack of a clear connection to the U.S. military leaves room for skepticism. Critics argue that it's inappropriate for a foreign national with no first-hand experience in the U.S. military to preside over such an award ceremony. The decision to bestow this honor upon Harry rather than a distinguished American veteran is viewed as disrespectful and out of place. Moreover, concerns are raised about the propriety of wearing UK medals in an official capacity within the US, further highlighting the perceived misstep in Harry's actions. Harry's lack of official capacity in the US is glaringly apparent, particularly when he's donning what many perceive as fake military regalia and presenting awards on behalf of a magazine to genuine servicemen. This facade only serves to underscore his detachment from the realities of war and the sacrifices made by soldiers. Rather than acknowledging the solemnity of the occasion and paying homage to fallen comrades, Harry's focus seems to be on maintaining a semblance of his former royal life, albeit in a diminished and pitiable form. The image of Harry standing at his back door, adorned with plastic souvenir medals and breathing in fertilizer fumes while an employee films him, paints a stark picture of his descent into irrelevance. It's a far cry from the grandeur of Buckingham Palace, where his brother William bestows honors with dignity and grace. The symbolism of the backdoor setting, suggesting a lack of respect or regard for the occasion, further exacerbates the disdain many feel towards Harry. The absurdity of the situation is not lost on observers, prompting comparisons to a whimsical Dr. Seuss tale. Harry's incongruous attempts to assert his relevance, juxtaposed with the solemnity of the occasion, only serve to highlight his detachment from reality. His actions evoke a sense of pity and contempt from those who witness his desperate grasp at relevance. Yet, amidst the ridicule and criticism, there is a glimmer of progress. The fact that the event took place at Harry and Meghan's own residence suggests a modicum of personal involvement and investment. While some may view this as a cynical attempt to garner favor or publicity, others see it as a step towards taking ownership of their actions and contributing in some small way to the causes they purportedly support. British veterans often wear their decorations with civilian attire, so Harry's wearing of the medals could be seen as a nod of respect to the awardee. However, the legitimacy of his actions comes into question given his relinquishment of honorary military titles in 2020. The presence of Jubilee medals, typically awarded for participation rather than service, adds to the perception of self-aggrandizement. Speculation arises as to whether Meghan influenced Harry's decision to wear the medals, given her perceived influence over him. Alternatively, it could simply be a misguided attempt by Harry to appear official in the absence of military regalia or coronets. Regardless, the choice to adorn himself with medals seems ill-conceived and out of touch. The The decision to hold the event at Montecito further perplexes observers, raising questions about Harry's continued reliance on his British royal connections for personal gain. This perceived disconnect from his former homeland only serves to alienate him further from public perception. Overall, the video appears to be a thinly veiled attempt at PR, with Harry exploiting his royal ties for personal gain while disavowing his responsibilities to his homeland. This opportunistic behavior reflects poorly on his character, leaving many disillusioned and disappointed in his actions. In another instance of questionable behavior, Harry's comments about William's children reveal a lack of maturity and tact. His insinuation that at least one of William's children will end up as the spare mirrors his own insecurities and suggests a failure to recognize the gravity of his words. This behavior only serves to reinforce perceptions of Harry as immature and out of touch with reality. George, Charlotte, and Louis, the trio, already exhibit a level of maturity that Harry hasn't achieved even at 40. I trust that the Envisi kids are in capable hands, nurtured to become well-rounded individuals. It's foreseeable that Charlotte and Louis will pursue fulfilling careers, guided by their grounded parents who prioritize their upbringing. Harry must shed his immature tendencies and focus on nurturing his own offspring. His fixation on William's children borders on unsettling. Thanks to William and Catherine's steadfast guidance, none of their offspring will follow Harry's tumultuous path. They'll be shielded from the pitfalls of substance abuse and spared the anguish of an emotionally turbulent upbringing. William and Catherine will undoubtedly orchestrate suitable matches for their children, ensuring they find partners who not only fit their royal roles but also provide genuine love and support. Their children will be encouraged to excel in their pursuits, unlike Harry, who relied on his title to gain entry into prestigious institutions without merit. Those in California ought to take a leaf from the royal family's book, observing a family bound by love and dedication to their children. In stark contrast, Harry and Meghan's parenting choices appear dubious, keeping their children isolated and distanced from others. Harry seems to believe his struggles are unique, but the reality is, everyone faces challenges in life. Yet, many would gladly trade places with him given his privileges. It's hard to take him seriously when he complains, especially considering the luxuries he enjoys. His grievances pale in comparison to those who face genuine hardships without such comforts. Louis, likely designated as the spare, appears to thrive in his environment, surrounded by love and support. He exudes potential and seems destined for greatness within the family. Charlotte embodies poise and reason, reminiscent of her mother, while George, though perhaps apprehensive about his future role, finds solace in the love of his siblings and family. Charlotte's poised demeanor was evident at Queen Elizabeth II's funeral, guiding George when he seemed uncertain. Harry's discontent stems not from his position as the spare, but from a lifetime of feeling inadequate and rejected. His inability to find his own path contributes to his unhappiness rather than his birth order. Interestingly, with the change in succession laws, Charlotte technically precedes Louis in line for the throne, making her the de facto spare. However, their positions in the line of succession matter little in the face of their stable, nurturing upbringing. Harry's insistence that his issues stem from being the spare seems misplaced. Rather, they stem from his own identity. Countless second sons have thrived despite similar circumstances. It's disheartening that Harry and his team thought resurrecting this narrative would paint him as compassionate and sympathetic. It comes off as a desperate attempt to salvage his image. George, Charlotte, and Louise are poised for a bright future, surrounded by a loving extended family, including both sets of grandparents. Harry will struggle to convince his own children that their isolation from family stems from anyone other than himself. Should Harry and Meghan have children, they may resent the opportunities they've missed out on. Despite being treated like outcasts, their life in the U.S. pales in comparison to the grandeur of Buckingham Palace. Their absence from significant family gatherings and historical events could leave a bitter taste in their mouths in the future. Their secluded existence in the U.S., devoid of family interactions and friendships, contrasts starkly with the vibrant familial connections they could have experienced. Instead, they have only Doria for familial support. Harry and Meghan will face difficult conversations with their children, who may seek out the truth online, leading to a potential future of bitterness and solitude for the couple. In essence, it's concerning that Harry speaks about his niece and nephews in such a disparaging manner. His jealousy extends not just towards William, but also towards his children, who are thriving academically, socially, and in their public duties. Harry's fear lies in the possibility of these children excelling in every aspect of their lives, thereby highlighting his own shortcomings and lack of fulfillment. He harbors an intense jealousy towards the children, fearing their inevitable success and accomplishment. It's likely he'll resent his own offspring once they pose a perceived threat to him, and considering his partner's tendencies, it's plausible she'll exhibit similar behavior. One can only wonder who they'll blame if their children don't meet their lofty expectations of attractiveness, intelligence, or athleticism. King Charles's inclination towards having a daughter rather than another son could be attributed to various factors, including societal norms, personal preferences, and familial dynamics. However, one compelling rationale behind his preference might lie in the unique bond that often exists between fathers and daughters. Throughout history, daughters have been known to hold a special place in their fathers' hearts, often idolizing them as heroes and seeking their guidance and approval. This dynamic fosters a sense of emotional connection and mutual admiration that differs from the relationship between fathers and sons. Daughters may feel more comfortable expressing their emotions and vulnerabilities to their fathers, resulting in a deeper level of understanding and empathy. In a household dominated by male siblings, as was the case with Prince Charles and his sons, the addition of a daughter could potentially bring a much-needed balance to the familial dynamic. Before the arrival of Kate Middleton, the royal family's interactions may have been characterized by a testosterone-heavy atmosphere, with competition and masculine traits taking precedence. The introduction of a daughter into the family unit could have injected a dose of emotional intelligence and sensitivity, tempering the rough edges of sibling rivalry and fostering a more nurturing environment. Daughters often possess an innate ability to navigate complex social dynamics and mediate conflicts, attributes that can contribute to a harmonious family dynamic. Moreover, the presence of a daughter could have provided Prince Charles with a renewed sense of purpose and responsibility. Fathers often feel a heightened sense of protectiveness and devotion towards their daughters, motivating them to strive for excellence and set positive examples. In essence, King Charles's preference for a daughter may have been influenced by a desire to cultivate a more balanced and emotionally fulfilling family dynamic. While the arrival of a daughter cannot erase the challenges inherent in raising multiple children, it can certainly introduce new perspectives and enrich the familial experience. Harry's concerns about William's parenting likely weigh heavily on his mind. He may fret over William's adeptness at instilling a sense of purpose in his children, ensuring they never feel redundant or unimportant. Charlotte, in particular, seems to excel in her role, surpassing Harry's own achievements. William and Catherine's approach to parenting emphasizes education, possible military service, and exposure to various interests from a young age. Their children benefit from strong familial bonds on both sides of the family, fostering a sense of stability and support. Harry's actions not only reflect poorly on his character, but also raise questions about his priorities. By seemingly abandoning his children in favor of aligning himself with Meghan, he's demonstrated a blatant disregard for his paternal responsibilities. While his relationship with Meghan may have brought him personal fulfillment, it's evident that his familial duties have taken a backseat. The decision to prioritize his own desires over the well-being of his children speaks volumes about Harry's values. Parenthood entails sacrifices and putting the needs of one's children above all else. Yet, Harry's actions suggest a lack of commitment to this fundamental responsibility. Moreover, aligning himself with Meghan, whose reputation for self-absorption precedes her, only exacerbates the situation. Meghan's contentious relationship with the royal family has been widely documented, further highlighting the potential negative impact of their union on Harry's familial ties. Instead of engaging in public disputes with his relatives or pursuing personal agendas, Harry should redirect his energy towards being a present and responsible parent. Parenthood is a privilege and a profound responsibility that requires unwavering dedication and sacrifice. Harry's failure to prioritize his children undermines his credibility as a father and calls into question his suitability for royal responsibilities. In essence, Harry's actions underscore the importance of prioritizing family above personal desires and public disputes. It's high time for Harry to reassess his priorities and commit himself wholeheartedly to fulfilling his duties as a parent. Only then can he truly earn respect and redemption in the eyes of both his family and the public. Furthermore, Harry should refrain from complacency. Awarding the Soldier of the Year title to Elizabeth Marks without notable achievements of his own reflects poorly on him. It's evident that his royal status affords him certain privileges he hasn't earned. He should recognize his limitations and act accordingly. Additionally, he lacks the right to concern himself with William's children. His primary duty should be caring for his own family and managing his wife's disruptive behavior. Harry needs to prioritize his family and curb his wife's narcissistic tendencies to avoid further conflict with the royal family. I trust this insight proves valuable. I welcome your opinions as they offer diverse perspectives that enrich our discussions. Thank you for tuning in to the Royal 365 YouTube channel. Goodbye, and until next time.